talking about talking about um, pre-production, production, and post-production, and these are the things I'm talking about: introduction and target audience, recent findings, production outcome, summary, and summary conclusion. We also talking about audience feedback, SurveyMonkey, um, and yeah. Okay, so this is my proposal. In this section, I talked about the stuff I've done um, over the years of in college, all the different types of skills I've learned, how to edit, um, and all the stuff I've learned about history of editing, and how I've developed my cinematography skills and editing skills. In this section, it's about my actual idea for my FMP, and it's filmed in stop motion. It uses Lego figures in sort of Lego environments. So everything in the film is Lego, and target audience is between 18 and 24 because of the style of my film. I've said here I've done surveys to find my target audience. This part is the evaluation. It says about how it will include no real life people, but it will have like voices of real people on the figures, but the figures won't be moving, their mouth won't be moving, it will just be the audio in the background. And by doing a reflective journal, it helps me to see how the project has actually turned out and stuff like that. And this is the research sources part, and talking about the primary research and surveys they do, how doing primary research surveys help me actually develop my idea and give me good feedback like that, and it actually did give me pretty good feedback because it developed my idea because I didn't have much of a clear idea of what I was actually supposed to do, what I was actually going to do for my actual film. Here I talk about my problems I had and how to solve them in my problem solving log, and like techniques. If I found that I got stuck quite a lot when I was filming, so I'd go on a YouTube tutorial to help me. I should have really done it before I actually shot, so I don't have to pause, go find how to do something and then continue. Because I did actually set me back quite a lot, just messing about trying to find videos on how to do things. Power. I had the lights to get really hot, and one of the actual bulbs actually blew, so I had to go out and buy a new bulb. That was a major problem. The room did get quite hot as well, and the batteries died, both of them. Health and safety was a major thing as well, and I also, I had to think every time before I shot. I had to make sure the floor was clear, there was no wires in random places where I might trip, and just making sure everything is safe. Now move on to my reflective journal, and I labelled all the problems I got wrong, and how I didn't actually have much of an idea when I started. I just wasn't doing any work, and I was just asking people, what could I do? And then I was thinking I'll do a Lego stop motion film. I had to do all the research into it to figure out how to actually film stop motion, and I was just really far behind due to the fact that I hadn't really done a pitch and really done a proposal, because I couldn't do that because I hadn't actually got an idea yet. Which I should have just got a solid idea, just thought of one, planned it, just been more professional about the whole thing. But I did do some research. I didn't have a full idea, but it was all right. It was enough to do a bit of research on it to get more of an idea, which helped me. Because some person responded with what I could actually use. I could do a big crash with a drug dealer being chased on foot, which actually helped a lot. Talk about how I had to set up the thing, the hazards I had, how I just couldn't focus on filming because I didn't plan it, and I was a bit lazy, and how I didn't really start filming until quite late. I've done a few little test shots, but that wasn't enough to really know what to do. Then I was researching into sort of how it's supposed to look. Looked into brick film and stuff like that. I was doing all the paperwork. I'd take small steps, but obviously it's not a big idea for obvious reasons, because stop motion takes a long time, and I was just not really bothering to do anything, which was the worst thing to do. Talk about how I didn't really know how long I was actually filming for, so I'd take about 10 shots or something, and think, oh, that's a lot. I've done a lot, and then it'd be only 7 seconds. That was a big problem. Talk about all the problems I have, how I was quite lazy, and just pretty much the same things, and then had to edit quite quickly. No one really wanted to have the audio in, so I had to just mash everything up quite quickly. It was quite stressful and quite rushed, and it was quite long hours. When I eventually did start filming for hours, because the first few weeks I didn't actually film that long. It was probably 15-20 minutes every day, plus I didn't know what shot to do the next day or something, so just a bit all over the place. Here you can see about all the research I did. I just put that into a reflective journal. Just talked about a bit of it, about how I watched the video and how I actually set the lights up, how I have this leveling thing on my camera. So it's really helpful, shows me that it's level, so it doesn't look wonky, and then have this is sort of a which was, I was looking at how to actually move certain things, like how to move a Lego figure on one leg when I was shooting, which wasn't great, but I did learn. But it was cool learning how to actually move the thing. And move on to my responses from I put my synopsis on the surveys. Talked about how that car chase thing helped me a lot. People talked about the biggest problem. This was post-production after I'd filmed, and what people actually thought of what my film was like. People did like it, but it was a bit weak in areas, audio-wise and sort of editing-wise. Then I talked about I've got fire responses, and the criticism was quite good. But then the long film process was really annoying, and I talked about how every time I had to make a scene, it took a while to make the scene, and then I would film maybe for about 10 seconds, not film, take 10 shots, I would add up to 8 seconds or something. So yeah, it was just hard sort of adding all those seconds up during the whole process of filming. They talk about how I received the referral, obviously, because I didn't do much work for the start of the project. And then when I filmed, I couldn't really do much work because I was just like overwhelmed by all the pressure of how, oh, what's this, what's that, how do I film this? It's just, plus it took so long, which wasn't really a great thing. Plus I was too lazy to do it, bothered to do all the work before. Really should have just planned it, to be honest, to start with. Before I even started anything, just planned loads, like wrote things down and stuff like that. But anyways, let's move on to the research part. Secondary research. Here I looked into, this was pre-production, and I looked into the different types of, like 5 different stop motion Lego videos to give me a sort of better aspect in how my thing should look, but it wasn't enough to really make me think, oh, this is what I have to do, but not until I actually looked at like stuff like Jason, the guy that actually made Brick films and stuff like that. You know, it's quite interesting about the films he actually done. This is about the style of my film. It's kind of an Indiana Jones sort of look to it, sort of action, sort of pace feel, like James Bond, sort of car chases sort of feel to it. Here I just screen grabbed what Brick film actually is. It's what my film's inspired from, all these little videos of Lego figures in a movie. And here was just the sort of general stop motion sort of ideas. This was very pre-production. It's before I even thought of Lego stuff. So it was sort of an idea to sort of what is stop motion, how do I actually move it and stuff like that. Because it did, and how it's a long process and how it does take a while to do. Let's move on to visual research. Visual research, I looked at a few films on like sort of similar sort of feel to it, sort of like related ideas, and they're all filmed with Lego stop motion. Then obviously to learn the process, I had to watch videos on how to do them, and so on. Like take a remote to make it not shake. That's very important. The sort of how the camera is meant to be set up, so it's meant to be a blurry background, and the lighting. I talk about that in my reflective journal as well. How it went from a sort of boring cold look to a nice warm look. Obviously, this was how to set up the set because I'd use a desk in my room. It was really crammed the room, so there wasn't a lot of space. So yeah, it helped me a lot looking at these videos, but not in sort of general idea. It helped me with the sort of placement and everything, but the idea as a whole wasn't really there. So sort of the types of movements I used, the like standard walk for most of it, and then I used this part for the end, sort of like mid-action part where they're running away and stuff like that, which was a bit easier because it was just like 3 or 4 movements. This was about 6 or something. But then again, I done this like mid-shoot, which wasn't really that great because it slowed me down a lot. It's really stressful and stuff like that. And if we move on to the primary research, this is all the people thought of it. They were kind of confused why they get in the same car. So I mean, the idea wasn't like super strong because obviously it was very rushed in places, which was a bit irritating. Just go to my risk assessment quickly. Yeah, labelled here like cable commitment was a big thing. Fatigue, long hours, because it was very long near to the end. For the first few like 2 or 3 weeks, I didn't really do much shooting. I was quite lazy and only done like 15-20 minutes a day. I'll talk about the room. It's quite dark and make sure I check it before. Onto my Wix page. Just going to preview the site. So it's a bit easier to navigate around than the editing part. Don't really know what it's doing. There we go. English. And then and I'll just do this. It's just my like sort of logo thing, animated logo. Here I have all my sort of stuff. This is where my video is. If we just go to it from here. Haven't really done much on my Wix as well, but anyways, so yeah, the process was really long. Obviously it could have looked a bit smoother, but the way I was going from reference from the camera, which was this speed. I could have had it slightly smoother and it would have looked a lot better. But you can see it was a bit too slow at places. I used Bluetooth and stuff like that to sort of make him stay on that bit because that was very difficult. Yeah, this is the bit I talked about where like move the car and that, you know, move the camera a lot because, you know, would vary the shots. And that bit didn't really, that was not very long, that wasn't very much seconds. This bit was very difficult because I had to move 2 of them at the same time. Let's move on to this. 3 of them all at the same time, him moving, switching shots. This was during the sort of long process where I pretty much done this whole up to like this sort of where the guy enters. That's where I sort of started doing it, and you know, they sort of run at the same time. The policeman's trying to catch them, and he gets in his police car, drives after them, crashes into them. He runs away, escapes, he goes straight, whatever, and you know, they get arrested. And yeah, so the project was alright, but I felt like it would have been a lot better if I just structured everything at the start, planned everything, thought it through a bit better. It would have come out a bit better. It would have come out a lot better, actually. Yeah, I thought the edit was pretty good. I was quite pleased with how it actually came out and looked in the end. Yeah, I feel like the first bit was a bit boring. It wasn't much, you didn't really know what's going on, but you know, it was alright with it. Everything added in, the audio and everything like that was alright. The green screen is a bit random, but you know, well, it was just a little background. So yeah, that's it.